All right, so today we're going to watch the classic cartoon live-action crossover.
Oh, the one, the only, the Roger Rabbit, right?
No, one featuring the sexiest man alive.
Oh, more obscure. That is Cool World you were thinking of. With,
I'm talking about Space Jam. It's on the counter. It's right here.
Oh, how long has it been there?
Like the whole day.
Okay.
All right, guys, here we're going to talk about the movie Space Jam. 1996's Space Jam. Lee, I'm pretty sure you've seen this before.
Everyone has seen this.
Right.
No point in asking.
I would actually be surprised if, because this is something you could definitely watch now and still enjoy it, because people still watch Looney Tunes and crap. It's almost, always, I think, going to be top, because especially now that we don't have as much 2D stuff at all, I think that it will become a new thing where like when we first saw digital animation, we're like, oh my god, what is this crazy thing? And it will be that for kids.
Destroying my brain. Yeah.
I think when people look back to things like this or Who Framed Roger Rabbit, they'll enjoy it for a whole different way. They'll be like, what is that?
I have a different opinion.
Do you think they'll hate it?
I love Looney Tunes. I think this movie, divorced from its original context, is incoherent and worthless, and I kind of hate it.
I won't disagree.
What?
I actually won't disagree.
Okay.
I think the visuals are cool. I like whenever a person interacts with their stuff. But no, I do think that these Looney Tunes characters do act completely out of their own worlds.
Normal, and I think without knowing what's going on with the Chicago
Bulls.
Bulls.
If you
Michael
were
Jordan.
to compare this to something else,
doing?
Bugs Bunny is Superman. For even though they're in the same pantheon here, they're both Warner Brothers properties.
I like where you're going with this.
But Bugs, there's never been a situation where Bugs couldn't take on anything, and in this, he very quickly turns tail, cottontail, and runs right to Jordan. He's like, I need help.
Yes.
Picture the baseball one, the one where he plays every position and he's just beating these just gargantuan freaks. The difference in size. Only slight, but the fact that he was doing it alone then versus now where he has a whole team of other cartoon characters.
I have a whole thesis about the superpowers of the Looney Tunes characters and how they work. We're not going to get into that right now. But I think there's some missed opportunities to show off kind of their special moves and have Taz doing some stuff, but then to still not be able to overcome it, and then have Jordan somehow give a speech. I don't know. My point is, I remember being like, oh, this is cool, I guess. Wow, this and that, whatever. And then because you had to know about Michael Jordan. He was the most famous person. I don't like sports, though. So now I'm like, literally, who is that? I have no idea who this is anymore. They don't say his name anymore. I have no idea who this is. So it's been 100 years since then. So what little I knew then, I'm just like, oh, what is happening? This is crazy. And I kept being like, oh man, this is a movie that comes with something where I never had the thing. And I'm just trying to piece together, what do these things mean? So I think in the future, or for kids, they'd be like, what is this? What is happening? Right?
I think the music alone could have carried anyone who wasn't into sports. They're like, it's this song.
No.
And R. Kelly and all kinds of shit.
We were all forced to know who Michael Jordan was, and we were all forced to watch this movie and enjoy it. I'm not saying that those things didn't happen. I definitely lived through that, but that's all faded now, and this is all that's left, and I was lost. I was like, I hate this movie.
I was not a big basketball guy. Of all the sports, I thought it was one of the most watchable sports because it's fast-moving. Did not really get into anything other than collecting Michael Jordan basketball cards. I didn't collect basketball cards, but I had 15 Michael Jordan cards.
Michael Jordan?
Yeah.
Of the same card. It was weird.
6 are the same.
Okay, good. So when you have a marble collection, it's just a bag of marbles?
Yeah.
He was a part of life in a way that I don't even know if sports stars are anymore, because I'm not a kid and I don't know how kids function, but I feel like kids are just I like Fortnite, or I like TikTok, or I like this. I don't care about sports, or I do, and then I don't know.
I think LeBron James is in a very similar position, and he will be taking over Michael Jordan's role in the new movie, Space Jam Legacy.
I don't know if our culture works the same anymore, though. I don't know if people, if there could ever be a Michael Jordan again, where everyone and their grandmother and babies in cribs are
there's a reason people say he's the Michael Jordan of
yes, exactly.
That's a whole thing now.
It was a thing, definitely.
Yeah, but
there's a lot to unpack here, and we're about to do that.
Exactly. So we're gonna head over to spoilers, where we'll tell you what we really think. So if you've seen it or don't care, follow us over, and if not, pull out now.
If you need a place to rent content, you better listen. We're Cannibal Video, and we eat the competition.
All right, so here we are for the spoilers of Space Jam. All right, Lee, let me get them spoiler-filled thoughts.
Yeah, it felt weird now. It feels bad. It feels like there's a joke that I'm not inside of and I don't get, and like the audience is like gonna love that, and I'm like, well, no, what is happening?
It loses a lot of the charm of the original Looney Tunes. There's not as much like, because they're kind of dicks in like the original stuff. Like a lot of like fun stuff. Like we do get the same thing where there's like, oh, comical violence, and like guns. And bombs and like all kinds of things that seem to be cheating. But both sides are kind of, throwing around those technical fouls like it's water.
It may not be about playing a standard game of basketball at the end of the day.
Yes,
Might be about
but
something else.
that's almost the point,
yes.
and I think where the issue comes is since it's not really about playing basketball, there wasn't really the need to bring in Michael Jordan. Like you could have done these things without it. And I understand they're playing off of all the the successful Nike ads that involve Bugs Bunny and Michael Jordan.
What'd you expect? Elmer Fudd?
Nice shot.
Nice shot.
And like hey, if the commercials are good, why not do that for an hour and a half?
It felt like to me, and I don't know anything, so let's start there. Like, well, okay, I know that he played baseball and then went back to playing basketball, and this feels like some weird PR stunt to like create some sort of lore behind his decision to return to like basketball and to make it into some sort of event, more so than just him admitting that he sucks and has to go back to his other sport.
Now,
right?
I am not the basketball expert here. I thought that he came back to like a different team. I didn't even think he came back to the Bulls.
No
I thought
idea.
it was like
Like
the Wizards or something.
I also don't know
Magic
if this was before or after that happened, or where we were.
Couldn't exactly tell you.
But this feels like a weird ad for like, hey, make sure you go find what team Jordan's on in baseball and go watch that. Oh wait, never mind. Don't do that. Like, it has a very weird vibe to me, that because I'm fine with all the Looney Tunes don't bother me at all. They're just in it. But the whole structure of the movie, I'm like, why? What is going on?
The Looney Tunes have a big basketball game coming up, and your dad's gonna play.
Oh, right.
Well, it was just weird because I think like all the original Looney Tunes stuff, and it's a different time, of course, but are rated like G. But they're like much more extreme and fun, in my opinion, than this, which is rated PG. So I'm like, okay, we went up in a peg.
Yeah,
and we didn't really get a lot for our buck here.
No, and like they ruin everything because it becomes like 3-dimensional. Like it's not even 2-dimensional, like you were saying.
Diminutive.
It's some weird, twisted version of the Looney Tunes, and all the effects look bad. Some of them look so bad that that they're funny now.
Come on, Stan. Don't hug me, please.
I think a lot of that is weird too because you have to have this digital ball because like it has to get played between a real player and fake players.
There you go. Touch it.
So whenever he's not touching it directly, if it's in the air, it's fake, and I think that adds a lot of weirdness. Michael Jordan not an actor also. So
really?
So a lot of his things are weird. He makes some funny faces
tell.
at certain points where I'm like, I think there's a certain level of vanity that comes from being an actor, and he didn't necessarily have that. Where like, I have to make sure I always look good and this and that. Like it seemed at certain points where he's just like, is my paycheck here yet? Can I get the fuck out?
His face just drops and he goes like, where's my paycheck?
Obviously.
Are we done? There's no Tweety Bird. They're telling me to talk to Tweety Bird, but there's no Tweety Bird.
I wonder how that was. Like when that's like one of your first. Like most of his things are commercials. They even joke about them in this, where our what's his name, Wayne Knight, who they wanted to be fucking Michael J. Fox, and that would have been such a different movie.
Look, I need you to come out now, okay? Because you got a baseball game tomorrow. I look pretty stupid if you don't show up.
Imagine MJ in there and MJ.
MJF. Yeah.
That could have been great. Not that Mr. Knight here did not carry his weight. He's always a presence in the movies he's in.
Stick, stupid! That's your stick, boy. Yes! You like your stick? Go on, get it. And no wonder you're extinct.
He's a presence. You're talking about the rant he goes on, like, get your Wheaties and go here, and we'll get a Big Mac on the way. Yeah, it's a stupid thing.
Get your Hanes on, lace up your Nikes, grab your Wheaties and your Gatorade, and we'll pick up a Big Mac on the way to the ballpark.
Yeah, Michael Jordan is not an actor. He's also, like his commercials, he's just like talking into the camera.
Yeah.
And which is kind of what he's doing here.
Are you talking to me?
Yeah, I'm talking to you. You want a piece of me? Come and get it.
Pretty much.
And there's a thing actors do where like they talk into the camera and then like their face does something. I don't even know what like what it is. But he's either doing it or he's not doing it. Something's different about him where like he finishes saying his line and then just stares into the camera and I'm staring back at him and I'm like, what is happening? And this
at least all of our NBA players are doing the same thing.
Yes,
there's not really any of them like, oh, he rose so high above it, made everyone else look bad.
Yeah, that's like the move, definitely.
There's got to be germs in there or something.
Yeah, that's right. That was in New York, 3,000 miles away.
Bacteria like that can travel faster than the speed of light. Yeah, it could be invasion of body snatchers.
Yeah.
But I don't understand what that is. Like, what is an actor doing? Like, that's so different.
The most, I think, effective scene, like, where I'm like, ooh, I felt something, is Charles Barkley has lost his powers, and he is on the streets watching like girls play basketball, and he goes like, "Can I play?" And they go, "Hell yeah, it's fucking Charles Barkley. This is great."
Yeah,
and then he can't play because he lost his talent.
Not Charles Barkley.
Sing it
It's a
out.
wannabe who looks like him. Mari, break out. Shouldn't even be here. Be gone.
And she's like, "Be gone! You just a wannabe." And like, I was like, "Oh, I feel so sad. Why did you hurt him?"
They call him a chump. They spit on him. It's horrible.
Oh.
No,
Take his wallet and his shoes.
I felt that as well.
Yeah,
it was a nice moment. I wish the movie had been about anything, but in particular about that. That could have been cool. They don't really delve into what this is. Oh, do my powers like define me? Oh, Michael Jordan like kind of chose to step down, but he still has his power. Like, what does this mean? What? No, we don't care about any of that. We're just going to the end of the movie. Nothing's happening.
The little elements there are peppered in with some fun stuff. I think even just the early stuff, like let me show you what Michael Jordan came from. I'm like that could have had a little like some legs.
Go ahead, shoot till you miss.
You think if I get good enough, I can go to college?
Hey. You get good enough, you can do anything you want to, Michael.
There's some callback stuff here. The young him was pretty good. The one who played his dad was pretty good too.
I was gonna say, him at 10 or like the reel after that. Yeah, that like sets up this weird thing where like I thought this was gonna be a movie is my issue, I think. So I'm gonna keep saying stuff like I wish they'd done this, and you're like, why would you wish that? I don't know, because I thought that like even though it was about like Bugs Bunny and like dumb being flattened and being like killed and stuff, I thought there was also some like point to the movie too, like he was gonna have to like rediscover his like thing and like decide like
get his mojo back.
Yeah, like I promised my dad this and I have to do that, but you know what, your dad would really want you to do this, and it turns out this is your thing, right? Oh, okay. Or like those like or like he realizes when those guys are like hey, hang out, play 3v3, and he's like, oh, this is what's different. I need Barkley like shit talking me because when I play baseball, everyone's like pampering me and trying to help me cheat.
Curveball, don't swing. Don't swing.
Like my environment where I thrive is this, and these people know the real me, and I'm gonna go back. No, there's nothing.
Or to even come full circle to his son who's having difficulty in baseball, which doesn't really get tied up.
They don't even mention it.
No, it's nothing. How insulting must it be to be his actual kids and be like, we couldn't play his kids? They have our names.
Here you go, Bucks.
Yeah, thanks, kid.
Shoot.
Why can't that be us?
And they barely
or
do
even his
anything,
wife.
right?
That's not his wife.
No, I know.
That's an actress.
He's not back from his other game.
What other game? What other game?
I knew all that.
It's just weird to me because they have such minor parts that they totally could have been his actual family.
I was just gonna say that's the kicker, is that they don't even do enough to justify. Because in your head you're like, well, we need real actors for the rest of the family.
Yeah.
We can't just have a bunch of family members.
They give him this modest house. That's not where he lives.
Yes.
He lives in one of the biggest houses ever.
Famous superstar ever.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I remember one of his homes in Chicago going up for sale, and I was like on Zillow looking at that shit. And I was like, holy shit! Has like MJ written everywhere. You're like this is not that little like not that it was a large house.
He was a Michael Jackson fan. This little known.
Yeah. Not that the house they represent as his is small by any stretch of the imagination, but it looks like a normal person's house on a street that is approachable.
Okay,
he has like a 4-mile driveway that's like gate.
I was just gonna say it's like on a block with trees and a sidewalk.
People wave and say Michael as they drive by, and you're like, what?
And that is
not happening.
No, they'd be shot. for even approaching.
He has Newman in a beater drive him home? No.
Right.
That would not happen.
Yeah, so it's this weird, like, humble whatever thing. I didn't know where it was going, and it went nowhere, and that always bothers me so much. And usually it's like, Lee, why are you talking about there being a plot or like a theme? There's an alligator, and he eats people. And I'm like, I know. So I'll stop. I was just gonna say my piece. Let's talk about the alligator. But there's no alligator in this.
You would think there'd be at least a lesson because it's a thing for children, like a moral of this story. But we like the loosest of
realizing the power was within you, teamwork, or like
they
rising to the
that
occasion.
through their placebo drug water thing.
Right.
Didn't you forget something?
What?
Your secret stuff.
But in a movie that's also advocating shooting people in the teeth and outright cheating, I don't know that you can get your moral from that.
And then Michael just wins because he's the best.
They don't think you can play the game anymore.
There's only one way to find out.
But that's not the moral either, is like find your place where you're the best. Because he just becomes the lawnmower man and does this weird body horror stretch maneuver.
He doesn't even dunk. He drops it in.
Yes,
I'm like, that was almost ballsy.
Because they set up like this thing of like, Michael Jordan, you haven't realized this whole time you're in Toonland where we can do anything. You just have to. I'm like, okay, this will be the thing. You just have to like believe you can do it or whatever, and that's gonna fall. It's all gonna come together. I swear. We have 10 minutes left.
Yeah, like
we
even
can
just
do
a
this.
mantra there,
Yeah,
like you can do anything, and then he's back in
like,
the home world. He's up at bat. I can do anything, and he hits the ball and gets a home run.
And then hits it, right? Something stupid that a kid's movie would have.
And if you want to make it even a little bit better, have the guy go, it's going to be a slider, don't swing. And he still swings.
And he still swings,
it,
right? Bookend it with that weird beginning where it's like, is this guy helping me cheat? And he's uncomfortable. And the guy's like, it's fine, thanks, no problem. And everything's so cringy,
when I strike out, it looks bad. When you strike out, it looks good. Oh, it looks good.
Good cut, Michael. Good cut.
That was a strikeout, Mike? That was a good-looking strikeout. Real good. I mean, you look good when you strike out, man. When I strike out, man, it looks nasty, man.
Everyone's just slobbering all over him. It's so dumb.
And I'm sure that's how it was.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But that's not even. That doesn't push him away from from like doing baseball. He just does good in like basketball because he cheats by being half a cartoon character for a second, and then decides to play real basketball again, even though it doesn't transfer over. There's no cohesion here. You just have to be like, yay! And then be into it because of all these people in it and all these stuff that it mentions. But it's been hundreds of years since Michael Jordan and the Bulls were like a thing for every day. So I have no connection to that anymore.
What did you think about Bill Murray's role in the movie?
No way. We'll find someone.
I was so fascinated by this because this is a movie where 200 people are all credited as themselves.
Yes.
But I did not realize that one of those people was Bill Murray, and he's playing Bill Murray.
Yeah.
Which I was like, blew my mind, where I'm like, did I not know this as a kid or something?
Larry, that could have been me.
His character, he's telling jokes. He feels like he's from a different movie where it's like funny and there's jokes. But that's the only difference. I don't know. What are you getting?
So
at?
I think Bill Murray has some of the funniest bits in the movie.
Yeah.
There's a part right when Michael Jordan gets.
I did
pulled,
this to you, didn't I?
You did. when Michael Jordan gets pulled down the rabbit hole.
And then you smile, okay?
Yes.
And you think this is good.
Just take the picture.
All right, okay.
The golf ball hole, and taken away. It was right when he was getting his picture taken by Newman, and he like smacks out of his hand and goes, "But don't point that camera at me!
Yeah.
Close the shutter!"
What type of camera is that?
Yes,
exactly.
As if that did it.
What kind of camera is that?
It's just
Would you not point that at me, please, and close the lens cap?
What are you doing there? Just
Yeah.
And I thought that was really funny. But the ultimate puzzle.
Wait. But there's another call because then he's getting into the golf cart with Larry Bird, and he's gonna keep bothering him about how he should play basketball. But he like inserts this little. I'm gonna give us both twos on that. We were in no frame of mind to putt.
Larry, I'm going to give us both twos back there. We weren't in any kind of emotional state to putt.
Because Michael Jordan's just been sucked into like the nether zone.
It's
right?
irrelevant. Oh, fine,
Right?
whatever.
This was the funniest section of the movie because then Newman is like digging and he eventually digs such like a large thing that's like absurdly large.
Oh yeah,
to, like,
that was
hole.
a hilarious.
I'm fixing a divot.
I'm fixing a divot.
Yeah.
He's fixing a divot.
Yeah.
I'm fixing a divot. Oh. He's fixing a divot!
That's pretty great.
That was funny. That's
that was very funny.
If you lifted all that out, it's like 5 minutes of the movie was like funny.
So like I don't even understand. So I have memories of these commercials with Bill Murray saying how he wants to be in the NBA.
I have decided to retire from the field of entertainment so that I may pursue a dream. I want to play in the NBA.
And I'm like, were those commercials for this? My time frame is off, or I don't even know. I feel like it was before this, but I don't even know what they were commercials for. Because like I don't remember them like focusing on his shoes or him saying anything. Were they commercials for the NBA? Did we need commercials for basketball? I don't know. But so him saying like, I'm like, that's like a continuation of him, because him as Bill Murray wanted to be in the NBA, and it would be him like just dribbling down the street and one.
I believe in myself. I'm there for me. I believe in the ball. The ball is there for me.
Or him like playing like one-on-one with some young inner city kid.
I'm pumped up now. I'm like super pumped.
Like these stupid commercials that had no point. And I'm like, were those like low-key fucking commercials for his role in this?
I think it might be even worse. I think this might be like a whole thesis for me, because like Transformers is great, but it was just to sell toys or whatever. This is the opposite, where they put that into this movie so that the audience would be like, I remember those commercials.
And it might
this fucking stupid.
It very well might be that.
This is what it's like when you make something just to sell stuff. This is what it's like. Where everything now you're like, I don't remember anything or whatever.
Like there were toys and stuff for this, obviously. It's like always will be.
This is a weird, like, it's like an arranged marriage between like the sultans of two places. Like this is some weird branding exercise where they were like, we're gonna get all this out there. We're gonna do all this. We need a new spin, new bunny.
Has anyone here ever played basketball?
I have. I'd like to try out for the team.
Hey.
Hi, my name is Lola Bunny.
Let's do it. And they had this whole.
That's
like,
weird too, though.
Yes.
Like why introduce a character almost ever? Like when they have enough to fill an arena.
At small forward, standing a scintillating 3'2", the heartthrob of the hoops, Lola.
Those are all Warner Brothers characters that they have, and they're like, we have to introduce a sexy character, a new bunny.
Is Lola new for this or no?
Yeah, this is. I've never seen her before this.
I think so. She is technically new for this. Okay, good. I'm making sure.
And I think she went on to be in other things after this. Yeah. But this, I think, was her origin story, which
this is the lore that we're going by. Yes, but this feels like a soulless corporate weird product where
almost like Moron Mountain.
And play one-on-one with the paying customers. And you'll always lose.
Yeah. So there we go. That's what it's saying. I don't know what it's saying.
Well, it's like you said. Well, it's the two sultans. One of them would be the NBA, obviously.
The two houses.
And the other one would be
together.
Six Flags. Like oh, come on down to the park. You want to see a good park, not that park. That park's bad. Like Magic Mountain, Moron Mountain, like type of things. Like they take shots at Disney here and there.
All right.
I do love when like the Ducks. That's a terrible name. Blah blah blah.
Exactly.
That is a Disney name.
How's fist for a new team name? The Ducks. Please. What kind of Mickey Mouse organization would name their team the Ducks? So sue me.
It feels like this self-aware product created to like do something in like the ecosystem, like you're saying, to take those little shots and be like, Warner Brothers is awesome. Look at all the different stuff. It's like a corporate film for why you should invest in like a new Warner Brothers like thing.
This was the most successful Looney Tunes movie, I think.
Bar none,
still.
right? Yeah. Definitely. I'm sure.
Yeah.
I don't understand it, Bill. Me neither am I. It's just something I've been thinking about.
Well, there was Looney Tunes Back in Action with Brendan Fraser, which was not good.
We cannot let a boy and girl and a duck and a rabbit thwart our plans for global domination.
But had equal parts large celebrities, like Steve Martin is the bad guy.
I'm already more interested in that movie, which I don't think I've seen.
Oh, I remember seeing that theatrically and not enjoying it, but I would totally revisit.
Brendan Fraser, Steve Martin sounds good so far.
Get off me, Charles.
Get off me before I cook you. Come on.
Strangest cameo is definitely like the wife from Everyone Loves Raymond and the guy who voices Homer Simpson are just in the crowd at the basketball game. Yeah.
Honey, will you just let me watch the game? Barkley's killing us.
Hey, someone's killing someone.
The ones who are like, don't look at him, the trench coat guy.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Who's like dressed up like Doctor Who. You're like, okay, this is a weird scene in general.
Sweetheart. What? Thought you were gonna get better seats this year.
This is as good as I could get.
This guy next to me is doing something very weird.
That I don't know if it called for celebrities, how they would pick the people. Is it just like, I know these guys, like, get them over here? Very weird.
Well, that's too where like they're trying to be cute about it, because they're like, Bill Murray, how did you get into the land of the tunes? And he's like, I'm friends with the producer. He had some teams who dropped me off.
Yeah.
Just how did you get here, anyway?
Producer's a friend of mine. Just had a teamster come and drop me off. You know.
Where it's like, oh, because he is Bill Murray, and that is why he is here.
And
like,
that was he was the same producer that was on Ghostbusters, I believe.
Ivan Reitman
so
is like attached to this. I think?
So
it's like
I think he was the director of the animated portions, but got shafted as not getting a director credit and got switched to be a producer.
Okay.
Some bullshit because
I saw his name in the beginning and I was like, legitimacy.
Yeah. But I'm like, okay, yes, he does. He is legitimately friends with this guy. But that is such a weird, like, I was like, what? I even mentally noted, like, well, I'm like, how does he get there? Because, like, you're breaking the fourth wall, saying it's a movie at that moment.
Yes, and you're also, that would be like when like you reboot a series and someone says like, well, like, hey, Scully, why are you here? She's like, I needed the money, and then it's like winking at the camera, and you're like, what? No, you can't say that. That's awful, guys. And I'm like picking up on that now, thinking about this as like this like nefarious product, which paid off. This proved that like this is how you're supposed to do it. Yeah. It's apparently the most.
Their website's still going. I check in on that website all the time. It's exactly the same.
It's a legendary website.
Yeah,
yeah.
I remember when someone first brought that up, and like it was strange then in like 2003. I was like, what? That like, website's still up?
Right.
And now it is still up. It's crazy.
I would love to be in charge of that and just be, whatever upgrades we do to this server, you have to make sure this website does not go down. I'd be like, hell yeah.
Exclusive property and trademark of Warner Brothers, Inc.
So you're a body horror fan. You must love when Jordan got turned into a ball.
Come
Can you believe it?
Oh yeah, there's a few instances of body horror here. Yeah. He gets turned into a ball and he gets manhandled and then like pops out of it.
Hey everybody, look at your hero now.
And this doesn't alert him to the fact that he has toon powers.
Yeah.
Whatever. Fine. It is when later, we touched on it briefly, but it's worth it's like due now. Is Newman gets flattened and then inflated and
Big man pancake.
then like a whoopee cushion balloon like flying through the air. Like,
but they let out that the air's not coming out of his mouth with a tube went in, it's coming out of his ass. Because they're all like, oh. And I'm like,
yeah, doesn't Pepe Le Pew put on like a nose close, going like, oh no,
that was. I'm like,
okay, pal. I mean, the ultimate body horror for me is that ending when Michael
the stretch.
Is it? Like, I think that they had to do something to it. I don't know. Maybe I could watch it again and be like, oh, this isn't as bad as I thought. But just at the time, something about the way it's moving and like the shot and how it's composited, it just felt so like uncanny valley to me. And I'm pretty sure that's his head, or it was his head at some point. Now it's been put together with other elements or whatever. But something about the way it's moving, against the background, I was like, this is disgusting.
It didn't jar me any more than it should. But I may not have noticed it in the same way you have.
By that point, you would have been pummeled by a lot of shots that should have bothered you in a lot of ways, so whatever.
I love Foghorn Leghorn saying, I resemble that remark.
Yeah. No, they
little things like that.
Old-timey cute stuff.
Yeah.
So like the little Martian guy, what's his name?
Martian Manhunter.
Martian Manhunter.
Marvin the Martian.
Yep, Martian Manhunter is in this as well. Also Warner Brothers, it fits. That's the sequel, by the way, is that they're a superhero team. We'll get into that later. He comes up and calls Jordan Sir Altitude, which I was like, and I was Googling, I'm like, was that one of his 400 nicknames?
But if you don't find a fifth player, your team will forfeit the game.
forfeit?
Precisely, Sir Altitude.
And I don't think technically, I think that's him mangling.
I don't get why
Sir
he
Ernest
wasn't on the ability to play. Well, how is the referee also a toon?
Right.
The referee, honestly, Jordan should have been like the ref or like the coach. He's
the coach.
He's the player coach, but he should just be the coach.
No, he should be the coach. Obviously, obviously he should be the coach. That's number one. But
There
LeBron's
should have been
not
some
going to be
fun
the
line
coach.
where it's like,
Yeah.
if you die in Toon World, you really die.
Die
And he's
in
like,
real
what? I can't play.
Yes. Or something happens. There's some technicality. You can't play for them. Okay, I'll have to coach. Or some weird something happens, something going on, where they think it's about to be one thing.
I just don't get like the players they chose. Like you know, the little fucking sneezy mouse.
Let's go.
Oh boy, I'm ready. I can do this.
Pick the mouse.
And fucking Tweety and shit.
No.
My poor will cranium.
Like, Tweety ends up on a fucking iron lung and the mouse gets totally flattened. When you have, like, what's the big red monster's name? Like, Melvin or whatever?
My stars.
Like, he's like 7 foot tall. Like, bring in the monsters. Bring in the big guys. Something that's, like, can actually play.
And they demonstrate having certain abilities later with certain stuff. So like what I wanted was a little more give and take, but then for them to not be able to push it over the edge and to just be overwhelmed by the power of the Monstars, right?
Yeah.
But there was very little. There's one little section where they get their groove back. And they do it to it, and that's okay. But I wanted like more of that. I feel like it should have been like a demo reel of like weird combo moves and different things, because I do think of them like a superhero team where you have Taz, because like
Taz is a beast
yeah.
and he does nothing. He
Right.
doesn't ever really take out anybody.
Yeah. At one point, the team is like the two bunnies, Porky, Taz, and like Daffy maybe, yeah, or like you know like Sylvester or somebody. And I'm like, okay, like video game logic. Everyone gets like a special move. Everyone has a thing. You're like dunking and it's like turning into fire, and they're just like what? And you're like spinning around, and they're all caught in like the tornado. Like let's do that. It's
Something
awesome.
good should have happened.
But
like did
no.
Roadrunner even play? I feel like he was there for practices and didn't play at all. I'm like.
Yeah.
He's the fastest fucking thing in the world. He could have ran up and dunked every time with his no hand having body. Or like what's that fucking dog that like is always punching Wile E. Coyotes like fing, like knocks him out. Like get some of the big beefy fuckers out there. You need some muscle. You're gonna need that muscle when you face Iceland. Like
No, I feel like, yeah, like without even like stacking the deck of like the largest or whatever, like you still could have been like, well, this one's super fast, but then had like the bad guys cheat or like come up with their own way to be faster or like keep like tweaking it where it's like, oh no, we can't do anything. Danny DeVito keeps like, you know, like faking this or like messing with that or like cheating or doing stuff. Oh man, what are we gonna do now?
Right.
Okay, we need something.
My bad.
We need something nutty.
Nutty.
And then the answer is you rely on your friends or some fucking child
Yeah.
message that like takes us over the top. And then we win.
I just would have liked to seen Bugs do more. Like Bugs really was a side character, even though he's like top billing.
Yeah,
Is he top or second? Either way, he's up in the fucking poster.
He's on the box.
Of course.
He's in the movie.
How could he not be?
Yeah.
But for this guy who's been the boss of boss, like he's God tier, and he does not do any of that.
I love the doing power level math with like the Looney Tunes.
But
yes.
it's true.
No, yes. No,
Yeah.
definitely.
Those gorillas are a bunch of dirty players. Why, I could lick them in a ball game with one hand tied behind my back.
I'm sorry that I made you hate this movie. That's what you're so into.
It's honestly the people that made it. Like I'm like, okay, you should know your power levels. You've been making this thing for so long, but obviously their movie division is different than the people that do the cartoons or something. Like you didn't have that same, you know.
There was not a
cohesion.
like, you know, and again, I want to leave both options open, where you could have done that, or you could have just been like, oh, it's a kids movie, where it could have been anyone, but it's just Michael Jordan for some reason, and then he's like, it's about family or whatever. I don't know. Think of
He's
something.
Dominic Toretto.
It's about family. You're Mi Familia now. I'm like, okay, like just shoehorn in some sort of message that is consistent.
Fast and the Furious 12. they go into Toon World.
Good. Yep.
I am all over that. That would be so good. Just picture that.
Dom's car like stretches the logo and pops out of the sky like everything else.
Because in the end of 11, when they're driving away from the dinosaurs, he hits a ramp and comes crashing through the golf course.
Exactly, the same golf course.
Yeah.
Oh, and get Bill Murray and Larry Bird. They're still arguing about whether or not he can play on like the next hole. Yeah, no. Combos are good. Crossovers are good. This, though, again, without it being, what year is this? 1975? When was this made? Without it being in that time, I think it loses so much. And like you're saying, like, stuff's different enough and not, like, whatever enough. Some of the voices seem different. I know some of them are the same that did it in, like, other stuff.
Not
but,
a lot of them, actually.
The Tweety Bird is not the Tweety Bird I remember, right?
No,
it's not
well,
because
it was going to be, what's his name?
Mel Blanc?
Mel Blanc's son.
Yeah.
Mark Blanc? Something like that. He was scheduled to do 10 of the voices.
Ooh.
And instead, there was some conflict over pay or some bullshit, and he did not come in. And, like, 4 people took the positions that he would have
done. Yeah, I know one of them is Billy West, and Lola is some famous voice actress who's done literally every voice.
And I wouldn't be surprised that he wouldn't do that, but
yeah.
he should have been doing the classics,
Yeah.
and that's where you lost that. And I do think they do sound different. It is a noticeable difference.
So I got a feeling like some of the characters are de-emphasized because they're like, okay, just have them say these 2 lines and then it'll be fine. Because we don't have Pepe Le Pew in here or something. I don't know.
Hello, a little surprise for you, my friends. The points.
Hey, maybe they did and just hit my ears differently, but yeah.
Yeah, Speedy Gonzales should have also been on the fucking
Oh
forefront.
my God! Well, he's not politically correct enough, even for the '90s.
Oli Toledo! He's gone! Hey, Duffy, where are you, Duffy?
No, he's fine in the 90s. He'll be in the new one.
What about his cousin, Slowpoke Rodriguez?
My name is Slowpoke Rodriguez.
Is that his name?
Not a joke.
Was that his actual name?
I've decided that it was.
I did like that character.
He is a caricature.
Yeah.
He is not good.
Oh, they're all caricatures.
Yeah, but that one is it's very bro. Like yikes, bro.
Tequila or another más cerveza. I'd combato Pancho Villa and give him punch in la cabeza.
Just little things that annoy me, and it's like Bugs dug directly into his house under a rug, and I just picture his family tripping and dying in the middle of the night now because there's a perfect trap set underneath the rug.
Nice digs.
Digs directly into the court, and you're like, well, it's
that he
it's
can
magic.
heal the spit shine magic. Or whatever.
Yes, but like pieces of cork go flying as well. Yeah. Yes. No, when they go into the real world, it's crazy with the dog and stuff, and that becomes big. I hated everything in this movie.
So I think this tops my favorite cocking move. So you have Henry Cavill cocking his arms in the
when he reloads his fists like shotguns.
Yes.
In the Mission Impossible.
In Mission Impossible. That Ghost Recon, whatever the fuck, whichever one that one is.
The one.
But in this one, you have Daffy, and he cocks his whole body.
Yo, spaceman, don't choke now. Come on.
It's gut check time.
And then he spears into a guy's chest and gut checks him.
He's supposed to charge a guy and go.
He's like,
oh, that's good. Oh, yes.
All right, let's do it. You the duck.
There is a gearing up scene that really pissed me off because it showed up like a lot of the potential of all the different guys putting on different things and being like, this is my unique thing, and then like none of that pays off. But yes, that's an awesome.
That particular scene shines for me.
I really liked where the tunes started to get a little ground on the Monstars, and like that showed a cool thing because otherwise, because they're so they're weirdly big. It doesn't even make sense.
Yeah.
The Muggsy guy is bigger than like Michael Jordan, right? He's huge. So I'm like, this is insane.
And they started out at 1 foot tall,
Yes.
so they grew so exponentially.
They've sucked the power out of the.
But it's weird because they didn't in the real world they didn't get short or something. No. It took their abilities and talent when most of them are known for just being tall. And I'm like, well, he's still tall. He can still hold his arms up and block something. He can still dunk.
Well, I'm glad we didn't get through this without me mentioning that because I do remember identifying with this movie specifically with the characters after having lost their powers, because I am useless. I do not have a good control of my body in like a macro sense. I can't like watch someone do something in gym and then go do the same thing. I can't tell what's happening, right? It's
tell what's happening.
It's hard.
Where am I?
What is happening here?
So you would be more hitting your head on the floor, like, and just falling.
And we've scheduled a 12-lead stress test and neurological battery to include EEG, reflex test.
No, but like the way they portray not having any athletic talent at all, I'm like, very accurate. Because something happens and they're just like what? Like it's just like completely like they have no idea what's going on, which is totally me. And it all culminated at one point someone passes to Daphne and he goes, whoops! And like I have lived through that moment in gym class countless times.
Whoops! The duck!
I end up with the ball or something happens or it's coming towards me. I'm just, uh-oh! Like that's a horrible feeling and I thought he nailed it.
What do you think? I'm kind of partial to purple and gold myself.
All right, so I guess in conclusion, there's more things to hate than to love about Space Jam.
I'm sorry to say. Theme song's great, though.
Oh, fuck yeah. All right, guys, thanks for watching. Let us know in the comments what you thought about it. Don't die in a fire, and we'll see you next time.
If you want to support the show, head over to cannibalvideo.com, pick up some merch.
And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button.
That's all right.
Yeah, that's something.
Whatever.
Fuck these motherfuckers.